Alright, so it took me a while to come up with this workflow, but I have finally managed to scrape it together. I had some limitations. One, it had to run on a Chromebook. Okay, that's a big limitation right there. It had to be free, had to be available to all students, and somewhat easy to use. Now, as you're watching this video and you have other ideas on how to do this, that's fine too. For example, you might have Inkscape running on your computer. You might have Adobe Illustrator running on your computer. You might have Photoshop. You might have Krita. You might have 100 other applications that can be doing the same thing. But this workflow is what is required for the next step. So I'm going to show you how to do the workflow on these three websites, and then if you want to refine the workflow, you are welcome to refine it using any application you want. Alright, so the first part of this workflow actually has nothing to do with these three. It's taking a picture of something on your phone. So what I did is I took a piece of paper and I used a Sharpie and I used a Bic pen and I made some lines, okay? And then I took a really bad photo of it. And this kind of illustrates, one, students really don't take the time and opportunity to learn how to take a photo, so I made a really bad photo. And then I made some really bad lines on a piece of paper just in case I have some students that can't draw. Okay, that's why I made this drawing and this photo. Alright, so let's look at that. So we're going to use Pixlr.com. Link is below for this. So you would take your drawing, and you could use Bic pen or Sharpie marker. I'll show you why I would probably use Sharpie. You can see the Bic pen has a lot of gaps in it. If I zoom in using the mouse, you can see all these gaps where this one doesn't have those gaps. Okay. This program has a drawing tool. You can choose black, and your brush size is over here. And what you want to do is, if you used the Bic pen, you can now repair that. The only thing I don't like about this program is it doesn't have the ability to change the brush size with a keyboard shortcut. And if you've ever drawn online or drawn on a computer, that is like #1 needed. It does run on everything though, and it is free. So, and what you want to do is keep it light versus dark. So I'm going to just make some lines here just to clean this up. So what I'm doing is just sharpening some of these points, and I'm making this as messy as possible just to show you that it does work. Alright, sweet. So obviously there is some bumps here still. I could have took my time. Alright, so we're going to save this. And when you save it, I would keep it under 1 meg. So when you go to JPEG, here is the kilobytes. I would keep it under 1 meg. 800 kilobytes, 1000 kilobytes equal 1 meg. I'm going to download it. That's now on my hard drive. So now we can go into the second part of the workflow, vectorizing it. Alright, for the second part of the workflow, autotracer.org. Again, many websites do this, but this one's absolutely free. So I'm going to upload my JPEG image. Choose the number of colors. You can go 1, or I would go 2 or 3 actually for this. I'm going to try 2. I use smoother and the following. And there we go. Okay. It's very rough. Very rough. Now if you go back and forth a few times, you might be able to clean it up. In other words, here you might want to try smoother with these turned off. But you don't have very many options. Actually, that turned out better. Wow. Okay, so there we go. Now I want to download the SVG. So now that we have vectors, we can edit the vectors. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the next part of the workflow. Alright, now we look at boxy /SVG. So I'm going to launch this app. Again, links are below. This is my favorite app. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like all these other apps and any other app on the app, this is my favorite. So I'm going to go File, and I'm going to open from disk the SVG that I downloaded. Zoom in, if you go View, is equal sign and minus. So I can go and zoom in. And here is why. Let's go to Edit, and now I can edit these around. And not only can I edit these around, but I could do something that I can't do in very many vector programs, and that's this. Okay, I'm not on a dot, I'm on the line. I can actually edit the line in between 2 dots. So this kind of cuts Inkscape out of the market. There's also some things I haven't really played with too much over here. I would stick very simple, if I were you, to the fact that you can edit these and take your time to edit them. You can see the Sharpie marker actually worked a lot better. There's less of these, and that's important to have less of them. You don't want a whole lot of control points. Over here I feel like I have too many control points. You can, I think, cut them. Oop, nope. Let's hit delete to see what happens. Oh heck, yeah. So I can delete them too. Nice. I didn't do that. Try that before, but so absolutely free program, allows you to clean up vectors. When you are done, you can export it or save it. It does require that you have you sign up, but it's free. So when you go to save, it's going to ask you to sign up. I already signed up, so I can do this. But just use your email address for your school. That's an SVG, or I can also choose JPEG or PNG. Now, if I wanted to get it to black and white quality, like just this without the paper color, I could just click minus and delete the patches. Or if they are the wrong color, I'm pretty sure you can change the color over here somewhere. But I'll let you guys explore that part. I don't want to give it all away, alright? So here's maybe, oh yeah, there it is, Phil. Dang it. Alright, I guess I'll give you that one. Very cool. So yeah, there's two different ways you can export it. You can export it as the SVG, and what that means is you can edit the points in other applications. Or you can export it to a PNG, which has the transparent background, or a JPEG where it wouldn't have the transparent background. Alright, there we go. We have a workflow from phone to vectorizing to editing to export. That's a complete workflow. Alright, this last part is exporting into a different program. What is the difference between SVG, PNG, and JPEG? Okay, let's kind of look at that. So we have the complete workflow back to something like Google Slides. So let's open up Slides. This is going to be our port going into Google Slides. We need to get it out of this program and into Google Slides. What's the difference? So the first thing we're going to do is go View Transparency. That's going to show where things are transparent and not transparent. Like, for example, these two things right here, if I was to move this patch, okay, you notice underneath is just dark. What I want to do is fix that. So hold Shift and I can highlight those two, and up here I can do a subtract, and that actually makes it so it's transparent in that area. So subtract again. There we go. So just fixing things like that so you know which one's transparent. And now let's go in and save to disk as, and this is going to make it SVG, and I'm going to call it SVG. SVGs might not be accepted in the other program, but we're probably going to use those down the road. So let's play with the workflow. Now let's go export to disk. It'll have view or selection. I'm going to use the black arrow, highlight everything, and use selection. And then I'm going to raise this up to 300 dpi. You're going to have to manually scoosh this. It doesn't have the ability to type in there. And I'm going to hit export. So that's a PNG, didn't allow me to rename it. And then the last part of it is a JPEG. Again, selection. So the background, we want white. Didn't allow me to do any kind of pixels. You notice that. So that might be out of the equation. Alright. Let's look at it. Let's try to import those. Let's go and insert image, upload from computer. And here's my SVG. Doesn't like that. So we're going to import, upload from computer. We're going to use our PNG. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty cool. So you can see that it kept its transparency. And then we're going to insert image, upload from computer, and we're going to use our JPEG. Okay, in this case, not transparent. And then let's try to view zoom in on it. So let's go 200%. Wow, that's 200%, huh? So zoom in, option, command, option plus. Command, option plus. Alright, sweet, we're in. So you can see both of them have the same quality of pixel on the outside edge, even though this was 300 dpi and this one wasn't. You can see the difference between the lettering. See the lettering, how crisp the lettering is compared to this. So obviously what you probably want to do is, no matter what, PNG, and then up this to like 400 dpi, the maximum. So let's kind of look at that last one to look at the quality difference. Let's insert image, upload from computer. Let's insert the last one, which is this one. This is the last PNG. So I'm going to say probably minus a zoom out. Zoom, shift, no, command, option minus. That's going to be different on a PC, by the way, if you have a PC at home. It just doesn't allow me. So let's shrink that up. You can see this is much bigger, right? So you're going to have to go like this a few times to get it to the size you need it. But once you do, because it's so big and you're shrinking it small, let's look at the line quality. Okay, look at the outside edge of this one right here compared to this one. You can see the quality difference. So that's your end part of the workflow. We made a huge mess, right? Huge mess. But that's what you need to kind of work through a workflow, is to try it out a little bit using just crap until you get it. But looks like your best exports are going to be PNG, selection, make sure it's the highest quality DPI, and export in order to get it over to Google Slides. So now we have a complete workflow. I hope you enjoyed.